Okay, this is part 5 of the hidden history of nutrition and health and science by me, Pete Rogers. Today we're going to be talking about Nathan Pritikin. Nathan Pritikin was a nutrition genius. He is, Dr. McDougall described him as his #1 mentor, most important mentor. Pritikin himself at a young age, late 30s, had severe coronary artery disease, early 40s, and he was trying to figure out how to cure himself. And in so doing, he also had made a lot of money as this genius engineer, so he had time to read. And he made a thorough review of what was known about nutrition and coronary artery disease. And he continued to just have a masterful knowledge of the nutrition literature. And then McDougall was sort of inherited his knowledge, read all his work, interviewed him, studied his work. And then McDougall then, took it to the next level. Okay, but basically, Walter Kempner showed you could cure almost all the chronic Western diseases with a low-fat vegan diet, but it was a very restrictive, narrow diet. You'd have to be in a monitored setting like at Durham, North Carolina, Duke University. Nathan Pritikin started to show, well, gee, you can expand the variety of food choices and have the patients come to these Pritikin centers like in California, and the patients did extraordinarily well. And then Dr. McDougall further refined the diet and figured out you could just do it all with a starch diet. Okay, Pritikin allowed them to eat a little bit of meat because at his time he was concerned maybe they need to eat a little bit of meat to get some vitamin B12. In addition, it made the diet more popular with people. They felt, well, at least they get to eat a little bit of meat. So it wasn't so 100% vegan restrictive that might turn people off, especially initially. Okay, so this is one of his books. His books, by the way, are excellent. He's got a very logical, clear mind. He's got one of the most logical, clear minds you ever see. Okay, it reminds me very much of Dr. McDougall, okay, the way they think and stuff, and it's just fantastic. It's totally clear. So that's one of his books, Pritikin Program. Here's another one, The Pritikin Promise. Okay, and he reviews all the studies. He has his book well indexed. You can look up all the studies he talks about. He had health retreats where people could go for coaching. Oh, another thing about him is his legacy book. His legacy book is a review of the medical literature on the relationships of various degenerative diseases to diet and activity. It's a great book. It's available at Dr. McDougall's website, drmcdougall.com. So is, like I said earlier, Kempner's book is available there too. So you go there and you can read his book for free. Okay, one of the greatest nutrition geniuses of all time. You can read his book for free. Dr. McDougall had said, do not even bother to challenge me about nutrition until you have at least read Nathan Pritikin and Walter Kempner. If you haven't read Kempner and Pritikin, then you really don't know what you're talking about, okay? That's an important point. Pritikin was my most important mentor. So I say that, and this is another reason why people sometimes see me and I'm like, well, how come I'm not impressed by the high-fat phonies when they talk about their high-fat version of the Mediterranean diet with 40% fat? And I tell you, because I read Kempner. Kempner fed his patients 2% of calories from fat. 2%. They're not even 10 times more. That would be 20%. They're more than that, okay? Well, 2 times 20. They're 20 times higher. They're not just 10 times higher, okay? That's a lot of fat. You're not going to get the same results they got with the low-fat vegan diet. Dr. McDougall diet is about 7% of calories from fat. My, Spartan vegan diet's about 5 to 7%. Esselstyn's is always less than 10%. Okay, so it's the low-fat, and that's why I jokingly call ourselves the low-fat fanatics. The diets used by Kempner, Pritikin, McDougall, Esselstyn, myself. Jeff Nelson goes by that as well. That's the diet that's got all the cures, okay? High-fat phony diet, I'm not aware of it having significant cures. The Esselstyn diet was compared to an optimized version of the Mediterranean diet in the Lyon study, and the Esselstyn diet was more than 30 times better. 30-fold better in outcomes. That's a lot. If it was twice as good, that would be a lot. 30 times better. It means there's really no comparison. After reviewing all the literature on dietary lipids, dietary fats, Nathan Pritikin said, fat is bad. It is impossible for a naturally chosen diet to be too low in fat. It is impossible for a naturally chosen diet to be too low in protein. They put people on controlled diets of incredibly low amounts. Kempner's diet was only 4% of calories from protein. Okay, I've never in my whole career as a doctor for 35 years seen not even one patient with protein deficiency. Okay, I've never seen one with fat deficiency, unless you've got short gut syndrome where they've taken out extensive amounts of intestine for something like Crohn's disease or something, then you can maybe get that. These are there's videos about Nathan Pritikin on YouTube, including at Dr. McDougall's channel and at my channel, etc. Pritikin also talked about Bantu Africa. The Bantu women in Africa, they would have an average of about 9 kids. All women around the world used to have an average of about 9 or 10 kids up until birth control became widely available. And they weren't eating next to nothing for calcium, about the equivalent of 350 milligrams per day. It's like one little cup of milk. And they didn't have any problem with osteoporosis. So that's why, I have to laugh at American women taking calcium supplements, trying to drink milk. Milk actually causes osteoporosis, okay? So that's what's funny about it. No milk, and they don't have any osteoporosis. It's the acidic amino acid composition of animal foods. Okay, we talked about the Bantu. And they would nurse each kid for 3 years. That's a lot of calcium, but they don't have any problem with osteoporosis. Okay, Eskimos get tons of osteoporosis from all the animal foods, the acidic proteins in animal foods leading to pH buffering, which takes calcium out of the bones, also from the muscle. Okay, and calcium supplements are not a good idea because the calcium is a clotting factor, and when you take it as a supplement, you get a transient bolus, increased blood level of calcium, and that is prothrombotic. People who are taking calcium supplements to the amount of over 1,400 milligrams per day had a 2.6 time increased risk of death. It more than doubled, 2.5-fold, doubled their risk of death from a cardiovascular event. Okay. So the point I'm making is, who gets osteoporosis? Little old white ladies who drink milk. It's not the plant eaters, okay, including the ones who have 9 babies and nurse them for 3 years. Okay. All right, so anyways, that's a scoop on Pritikin. His books are fantastic. His lectures are great. There's a real good interview of him with Dr. McDougall. I'll try to link to that in the description below. You can really hear him explain his thoughts and how he turned his own health around. So I hope you found it helpful.